Well, here you go, naysayer. As you can tell, it is really cold up here. I am wearing 2 jackets and a hoodie. Oh, happy day. Yes, my friends, the park is reopening again. This is Coco's new chase friend. She is beautiful. Look at her. That's right. There you go, naysayer. The park is reopened. I got a few other things to say. Hey, Bon, I want to know, how did I become involved? There you go. I want to know how I became involved in your whole Bon Jess situation. How did I come up in all that? It is a happy day. The park is reopened. We are up here with our friends. Happy Wednesday. Well, my friends, I am back. So there you go, naysayer. The park is reopened. We are once again hanging with our friends, our dog friends, our female friends, our neighborhood friends. Hey, Vaughn, let me ask something. Now, let me start here.
Remember, folks, the premise from day one is that I need a roof over my head so that me and my dogs don't freeze to death in the car, right? It's been the premise from day one. Whether it was John, whether it was my cousin, whether it was Jess, whether it was somebody else. That's always been the plan, is to get a roof over my head so that me and the dog don't freeze to death in the winter. That's always been the plan.
Well, the problem with your plan, Vaughn, is you have no intention, no ability, no way of paying for a roof over your head. So your plan apparently was to just roam all over the continental United States looking for someone to give you a free home, a free roof over your head, just like Vonhelton did your entire life, bro. Your entire life. Yeah, that's all you're looking for, is your next Vonhelton to support you and provide for you and give everything to you.
So when Jess said, I've got apartments and you can stay at one, that was music to my ears. And then she tells me, well, I can't manage the properties myself. And I said, well, it just so happens I got 2 years of real estate law. I'll be happy to help you with your properties. Be happy to keep them managed and took care of. You know, and we got Father Judgment out there, which we'll be doing a bit.
Okay, so here we go. 2 years of real estate law, which we all know is bullshit from the beginning on. Yeah, we know that. You went from working in Ma's fucking nursing home to her fighting your dad to bring you down there to Clay County after she sold them. Yep, we've heard your cousins even say, nah, his dad didn't want him down here, but Vonhelton, well, she laid down that foot of law. Bring my deadbeat son down here so he could just live under my roof for the rest of his life. And, well, you know, I'll pay for everything, for his housing, for his food, for his everything. Yeah. So, let's roll on. Now it gets real good. Sorry, my friends, my finger actually hit the stop button. So let's roll on. This is where it gets really good.
Video on Father Judgment here real soon. But we got Father Judgment out there that actually used Schneider Handyman as his fucking icon. Well, who's Schneider Handyman, Bob? Schneider Handyman was the custodian on the TV show Three's Company.
No, that was Ralph Furley. Or who was the other one? Oh, the Ropers originally. Yeah, were the landlords, and of course Mr. Roper and later Ralph Furley, who was the manager, who was the, I think, brother of the owner that bought it from the Ropers. That was Three's Company, Vaughn. Schneider Handyman was from One Day at a Time. Yeah, One Day at a Time, Vaughn.
What, you thought Schneider Handyman was coming from thousands of miles away in another building? No, he lived in that building. He was either in the basement or he was in apartment number 1. I can't remember which. But a lot of custodian
He lived in the basement, Vaughn.
Live in the apartment that they work on.
Correct.
And they don't have to pay rent either, by the way.
There you go. That is the key point to my argument, Vaughn. They lived in the building they worked in. Worked in. While you were living in John's car or right next to him in the Odd Couple Walmart episodes, you wouldn't even clean his fucking tires. You wouldn't even wash your own clothes. Here's a big thing, Vaughn. Now, we're going to I'll finish.
Or utilities. Everything's paid in exchange for them being a custodian. A lot of places do that.
It's called a maintenance man or an engineer, Vaughn. Custodians push brooms and mops. I change toilets, I repair air conditioning, I do everything. I do plumbing, electrical. I don't push fucking mops. I'm not a custodian, Vaughn.
So where are you getting that you can't let me have an apartment if I'm maintaining the properties? Because that's a lie.
Again, Vaughn. Maintaining the properties. Actually working, repairing, fixing things. You couldn't even clean a set of fucking tires or wash your own clothes. You remember the toilet repair video you made when you were in the single wide, when you were trying to show me up how you were a handyman, at-home fixer, and then admitted, well, you had to call a plumber in, all because you had it hooked up wrong, Vaughn? Remember that shit? Well, those are the kinds of things you need to know how to do if you expect someone to provide you a place to live because you are on 24/7 call. That's why they give you that apartment, Vaughn. Because 24/7 a fucking day, 365 don't matter shit. You don't even get paid for those after hour calls because, well, there you go. There you go. Because you sit there and you are expected, if you are called at 3 o'clock in the morning over a leaking toilet or an overflowing toilet, you got to drag your ass out of bed from fighting storms and hurricanes and earthquakes and all that shit. And you got to go fix that shit at 3 in the morning. Yeah. And when the snow comes, those brutal cold January New York winters, your ass is out there shoveling the fucking snow, Vaughn. In fact, let me go into more detail on that, Vaughn. When I lived in New York, not once did I ever live in a building that I worked at. No, I was an off-site engineer. Yeah, that's what we were called. A superintendent, excuse me. In New York, they call them superintendents. And that's usually your living building super. Well, I was a roving super because of my abilities. So they sent me to the buildings where they needed shit fixed. That the live-in superintendent, who's pretty handy with a plunger and a paintbrush, well, they don't know a whole hell of a lot more about plumbing than that. So yes, Vaughn, when I was living in New York, I had my own apartment that I paid for. And I roamed from the 8 properties we had. Everywhere from Yonkers to White Plains to the Bronx to Manhattan to Queens. And yes, eventually out there in Portchester where I used to live. Out in Westchester County on the Connecticut border. I never once lived in a building, Vaughn. Because you want to know why that really sucks? Because when you live in a building that you work at and you get fired, you lose your home, your income, your job, everything all in one shot. So I will never do that again. Not that I was ever fired from a property I was living in. Prior to New York, when I was down here in Virginia, yes, I lived in a hotel because I worked for a man that owned 5 hotels. Yeah. I was a single man. Kids are all grown and gone and had kids of their own. You remember when my wife died, Mom? So fuck it. Why not go make a good living and be provided with a place to stay? Remember my kitchenette? My separate bathroom and my bed? Yes, I lived in a suite, on. But I also worked my ass off 24/7 around the clock between 5 hotels. But then when I moved to New York, I said, fuck that, never again. And I got my own apartment. And I worked at properties fixing shit. The best part about it was those properties did have the live-in superintendents that you're talking about, like Schneider Handyman. So I rarely got called in to work unless it was an absolute catastrophic fucking event that the live-in supers had no idea how to fix.
That's a flat out fucking lie. I don't know if you guys can hear the other dog barking, but the other dogs are barking. Okay, it's a barking, and there comes somebody else to park. Another person coming in to park. But yeah, man, these people got dogs in their vehicles.
Yeah.
Can you hear that dog? Can you, anybody
It's
hear
very
that
calm.
dog barking?
Hey,
Put
Sharpie.
that down my window.
Hashtag Team Sharpie. Not you, Vaughn. Team Sharpie.
I don't know if you can hear it. Can you hear it?
I have no idea if he goes on more about
Hopefully
me.
you can. Did you mad at that other dog, Sharpie? Huh? Did you?
Well, I don't know. In ending, Vaughn, when employers provide employees with a place to live on their property, that is for one and one only sole purpose. That you are on 24/7 call, ready to jump out of bed and go stop a busted pipe from flooding out a building at 3 a.m. Now your bragging rights are, I have a 2-year degree in real estate law. Hey, Vaughn, how well did this alleged imaginary 2-year degree in real estate experience, how did that help you out from being swindled? From having the Bonnie and Clyde of the Southern Clay County Holla, the Bonnie and Clyde criminal fucking thieves that came down there and, well, just swindled you out of your properties. And then what you claim put a gun to your head, but then after you left, you still stayed the little bitch to them. Because that cunt was still sending you fucking money. Unreal. So, I don't know, Vaughn, apparently I was next in your hate video campaign. Bro, if you want to do a live stream, you just let me know. I'll be more than happy to fire up StreamYards and invite you in, because I got good internet, Vaughn. I have T-Mobile right here in my nice, warm apartment. Yeah. Anyways, or I'll join yours. Or you can get your buddy that you were just talking about shit about after the night of hanging out with him, J-Dubs. Yeah, have John fire up the stream. I'll jump in. However you want it, Vaughn. Let's talk it out. Mono y mano. And remember, I want you to be aware of one thing. That exact location you're sitting in right now, I lived in for over a year before I moved to Vegas. Yep. I need you to watch out for the sudden, torrential, just flooding storms that wash out roads in a fucking moment, bro. In a fucking moment. I remember leaving my house on the Bullhead City, Arizona side one time, heading to work at Harris Casino in Laughlin. Wasn't a drop in the sky. I was halfway there, and the road was flooded out. That quick, bro. So you need to watch out for storms and all that. So again, my question, Vaughn, God damn, 11 minutes. My question is, Vaughn, how did you know that I had even offered an opinion on your injustice situation? Unless you have an account in THN and you reading our shit, son. Fess up, Vaughn. To the rest of you, happy Wednesday.